Well, as 2024 has begun, let's get started, of course, with Stardom with New Year's Stars. This is a brand new show starting the year for them. It features, of course, the Rookie of Stardom 2023. Despite the fact that we're in 2024, we're going to see who really is. The Rookie is going to be on top. And then, of course, they have the Triangle Derby in a tournament, 1 day tournament only. But who will walk out as the champions? Well, last year we had Prominence, but now we're going to see who's going to walk out. But first things first, as I mentioned before, there was still some shows from 2023 I still haven't reviewed yet. However, one just came on my lap and I thought, what the hell? We have Prestige Wrestling collaborating with Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling with Combat Princess USA that took place back on December 14th in LA. It features, of course, the wrestlers from Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling taking on the regular guests in Prestige. So we're going to see who's going to walk out as the winners of this. But however, there is a title match, which is the Princess Tag Team titles on the line. And then we move on with some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course any wrestlers that have been signed, and of course developments that have been going on in the world of pro wrestling that the world needs to hear what's been happening as well. So let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, factions, promotions, anything we want to discuss about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate episode by itself. And we also do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So subscribe to us on the like button, on the subscribe button, and you'll be getting a lot of daily reviews. And of course, if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment down in the description down below. Now, as I said before, there are still some shows of 2023 from December I have yet to review and see, and this is one of them right now. And this is the collaboration between both Prestige Wrestling and Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling with Combat Princess USA. This took place recently on this took place last month on December 14th in LA. Now, originally this show was supposed to be at the Globe Theater, but it was moved to another venue due to some circumstances that was not entirely detailed, but is understandable. Now, let's get started. Our first match, we have the very interesting tag match with a very interesting tag team that we have seen so far. The very typical unorthodox team, Palm Harajuku and Max the Impaler. They take on Amari and Rika Tatsumi. Now, what's interesting in fact about this is this. Max the Impaler, in Latin terms, was the International Princess Championship champion, but however, because one of her opponents, she beat it off her. But many people question how will Palm and Max get along. Well, we have seen that they can get along. I mean, I remember how Max used to scare the hell out of her, and for some odd reason, they decided to team up. And for some odd reason, Palm seems to communicate with her dearly, so she's always been by her side. But of course, they are actually good team. They can actually, even though Palm sometimes can get a little afraid of her, even though things don't go exactly her way. But of course, there was this one moment where Palm was disappointed that her dream was to win the tag titles with Max, and of course, Max saw how saddened she was that it didn't happen in her favor. But this match proves that their partnership as a tag team has been slowly getting stronger. But it was Palm who picked up the win when, of course, there was the waistline justice on her onto Amari and picked up the win. So sooner or later, we could see Palm and Max become tag champions, which of course I would like to see how that dynamic goes in. Now, our next match, we have Mocha Miyamoto taking on Trish Adora. Now, Mocha does have a background of karate. Uh, I'm sure there's going to be some implications in that. And then, of course, Trish Adora, who we have seen a lot more in Ring of Honor, a former Army vet. Of course, that's going to play out very well. But I kind of figured this match was going to end with Trish Adora winning when she applied the infamous lariat. 1, 2, 3. It's over right from there. Now, our next match, we have Sandra Moon taking on Mizuki. So, yes, Mizuki. Of course, it's always interesting to see her becoming a solo wrestler, singles wrestler. We know that she often team up with Yuka Sakazaki, but now she's moving forward, try to be a singles wrestler as possible because, as you know, recently we know that Yuka Sakazaki, in fact, graduated with from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. But seeing her with against Sandra Moon, that's a different story. But keep in mind, if Sandra Moon does pick up a win against Mizuki, then there is a possible opportunity she could appear in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling for a title match. But however, Mizuki applied the cutie special that finished off the match with her with the W. Next up, we have Miyu Watanabe taking on Hyan. Of course, we all expect Miyu Watanabe. She's one of the most prominent wrestlers we've seen, and not to mention one of my favorites from the Up girls. Um, we all expect what she was going to do. The giant swing. That's always been the thing to expect. But she finished off Hyan with the infamous teardrop. No fuss, no muss. Now, our next match is the only title match involving, in this one, the Princess Tag Team titles. Alright, so we have the challengers, Janai Kai and Shayna McKenzie, taking on Free Wi-Fi, Nao Kakuta and Hikari Noah. Now, this is before recently, as you know, I mentioned on a news update where, of course, Nao Kakuta and Hikari Noah had no other choice but to relinquish their tag titles due to the fact that Hikari Noah had some poor health conditions and unable to defend the belts from, of course, some upcoming shows. But however, I've always said that they have been those tag teams that should be right now with the tag titles, and they proved why. They have seemed like to form a beautiful tag team because, as you know, Hikari Noah has this tendency to try to play dirty tactics, and of course now Kakuta picked up those habits from her as well. But it played out pretty well for them in every aspect. But it was Hikari Noah with the Blizzard suplex onto Shayna McKenzie that allowed them to retain the belt. So good for them. Next up, we have Big Kaiju Shoko Nakajima taking on La Huera Loca Taya Valkyrie. Of course, we're gonna see Big Kaiju takes on bigger opponents. I mean, she did had recently a big match against who was it? Max the Impaler, but it didn't work. But however, seeing her with bigger opponents, Big Kaiju is the type who refuses to stay down. But unfortunately, Tail Valkyrie applied the Road to Valhalla, ending it right there. Now, this is a very interesting tag match. We have 121 million Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita taking on Impact Wrestling's, or should I say now TNA, MK Ultra, Masha Slamovich, and Killer Kelly. So, as you know, this is going to be a very interesting tag match. Now, you know, there's going to be a lot of brutality coming from MK Ultra in every aspect. But in the end, it was Masha Slamovich with the um, package pile driver on Miyu Yamashita. However, during the post match, Masha put out a promo that she wants to challenge her for the Princess of Princess Championship on January 4th. So right now it's already January 3rd, so it should be happening right now as we speak. But yes, so I can't wait to see that. Hopefully, I will review that one if that's a possibility. If it is, then I'll do it. So, and I think that's how it ends. I have to say, Combat Princess, pretty good show. I like the roster that they brought in from both sides, but nonetheless, good show. Hope they do it again. I can't wait to see that again as well. Part 2. So let's move on right now with Stardom New Year Stars. Okay. Stardom New Year Star. Now, this is one of two shows that happened starting the year for them in 2024. And this one is New Year Stars. It opened up with a tournament, the Rookie of Stardom 2023. This is the first round. Now, some of you may say, why not 2024? Well, the way I picture it and see it is that these are the rookies that made their debut in 2023. So that's the reason. So I don't want to make a big fuss about that, but I think we can see there's certain wrestlers that are prominent, others that still need work. But I think we can agree there are those that we can see they're strong. Now, as I mentioned before, this is the first round. Our first match is Rana Yagami taking on Yuzuki. Now, recently, as you know, these two have faced off each other in a tag team match during Dream Queendom in a 6-woman tag match. It was Yuzuki who actually picked up the win against Iagami last time. But now, this is where their one-on-one competition has to be put in play. Now, Yagami, I have to say, I'm impressed by her because she has great striking capability. I feel like she could be one of those wrestlers that could join God's Eye because she has that trademark, in my opinion, with them. But Yuzuki has been very prominent with the fighting spirit watching her at the very beginning. But unfortunately, it was the what was the move again? She calls it the rolling arrow that made the real difference for Yuzuki to pick up the win and advance to the finals. Now, the other match in the round one of the Rookie of Stardom 2023, we have Sayaka Kurara taking on Hanako. Now, Hanako, and from what I can, if you guys ever seen, she has a bit more experience than Yuzuki. Now, she has criticized about that Yuzuki in the past recently, as you know, it only took 1 month for her to pick up her win. Hanako felt that she never had that. Like she never even picked up her first win after a month, which is true. We know she has picked up wins here and there, but she's tall. We know she's powerful, so that played out pretty well. But it was, of course, Hanako with the brainbuster that picked up the win when she defeated Kurara to advance into the finals to face off Yuzuki. We will get to that in a bit. Now, there was a sudden change in the Triangle Derby tournament. We were supposed to have Queen's Quest, most specifically Lady C, Hina, and Miyu Amasaki to participate. However, due to poor health condition, Amasaki was unable to participate, so and ended up switching. So basically, the team that was supposed to face DDM received the bye, and that is none other than DDM. But however, they decided to give the other ladies who were not involved in the tournament, Lady C and Hina, the spotlight. But it became a showdown, a Queen's Quest showdown. So basically, I don't know how this one was going to play it out, but there are some factors in this. Lady C being tall as she is, I mean, she could pull off a good win. And then there's Hina with her judo background, that always plays a good factor in that. But unfortunately, it was strength that prevailed by Lady C when she picked up the win on Tahina. 1, 2, 3. It was over. Now, let's proceed to the Triangle Derby in the first round. Now, there were only 3 matches for this that happened. Our first one, we have Mega Bane teaming up with Crazy Star, Zuzu Suzuki, and Mei Sita. They take on the core members of Queen's Quest, Azumi, Saika Mitani, and Utami Ayashida. I have to say this was one of those matches that you be like, wow, that's pretty sick. But of course, there were moments we did see Mega Bane and Utami Ayashida collided, but unfortunately, the match did not go exactly according to plan for both teams. So basically, it ended up in a 15-minute time limit draw. However, during the post match, as you know, Zuzu, who had a very disappointing loss at the Dream Queendom, not able to fulfill her dream to win the red belt, she and Mei Shira decided to issue a challenge once again for the Goddesses of Stardom tag team titles. And of course, Ayaka Mitani and Tamashita, well, they accepted it. Now remember, um, Zuzu and Mesita did actually challenge for these belts against members of Cosmic Angels a few months back. Well, they unsuccessfully did not win, but we will see what happens from here on out. So I'm sure that that match will not take place in the Stardom Gate, so we'll see what happens till 10. Now, moving on with more of the first round in the Triangle Derby 2024, we have the members of Oedo Tai, consistent of Starlight Kid, Momo Watanabe, and Atsuko Tora, taking on another of their rivals, Stars, consistent of Saya Ida, Hanan, and Mayu Iwatani. But of course, we were going to see dirty tactics coming from Oedo Tai in every aspect. But however, it was Momo Watanabe with the Hito Denashe onto Saya Ida to precede the win and won in that fashion. However, our next match, we do part of the first round in the Triangle Derby. We have the other members of Oedo Tai, consistent of Fukigen Death, Ruka, and Rina, taking on the members of God's Ami Suri, Mirai, and Suri. So you know that there was going to be some factors in this. But however, in this moment, we saw strength versus strength with Ruka and Mirai facing off each other. But however, it was Mirai with the lariat onto Ruka to pick up the win. Now here's where things got interesting. As soon as the match was over, one of the ring announcers forgot his name. Ando, I think this is his name. I'm not 100% sure. Clarified due to the fact that Donna Demondo received a bye and there was a 15 time limit. So basically, there was Oedo Tai will be in the DDM. We're going to be in the finals. However, there was going to be the semifinal match that features God's Eye against Oedo Tai. So they wasted no time in that, so they decided let's proceed it. But of course, Oedo Tai with Kid, Momo, and Atsuko, they were going to try to win it in every way possible. So that's always been the case. However, there was a moment when everybody were outside the ring and the countout happened, but thank God Ami Suri was the one who saved the day. She was the one who stepped out of the get back on the ring for allowing for God's Eye to go into the final. So that will be our main event for that one. Now our next match, we have a very interesting 8-woman tag match. We have 7-Up. Last year's 2022's Goddesses of Stardom Tag League winners, Yu and Nana Takahashi, better known as 7-Up, they team up with Azuki and Saki Kashima. Their opponents is none other than Yuna Mizumori, Mina Shirakawa, Saori Inoue, and Maika. Now, if you guys notice, we have 2 members of current members of Cosmic Angel and a former member in the same spot, but we have 2 champions in the same. Maika as the red belt champion, Saori Inoue as the white belt. However, Mina did mention on Twitter that she couldn't help look on her left, seeing the white belt in someone else's waist. I know Mina's talked about getting that belt back because her dream is to be double champion. But I highly doubt we're going to see that again, in any way possible. But however, we did see. But what's interesting is we're seeing Seven Up right across from Yuna Mizumori. Remember, before she became a Cosmic Angel, Yuna Mizumori teamed up with Seven Up as part of the Neo Stardom army. However, she made the choice to leave and pursue her dream to join Cosmic Angels, which she eventually did. So this is the first time in a while that those two will meet up. But unfortunately, Yuna Mizumori suffered the loss when she ended up in the Kishikase by Kashima. So Kashima, even though she is the scared one out of all the people she's ever come across, picked up the win. So good for her. Now, our semi-main event is the Rookie of Stardom 2023 finals. We have Hanako versus Yuzuki. Now, as I said before, Hanako, she's a tall girl, very strong, powerful, more experienced than Yuzuki. Now, Yuzuki picked up her first win after a month. Now, I know Hanako felt like a bit of jealousy that somehow, how is that even possible? I mean, she did mention in Dream Queendom that she never won her first match after a month. I mean, she did won her first match like a few months after, but not like this. But however, we often say Yuzuki is one of those wrestlers that has that fighting spirit, that we know that she can handle it. But it was once again with Yuzuki with the rolling arrow, and she won and she became this year's winner. I just hope that in the months to come for Yuzuki, she gets the challenge for the future of Stardom. And I'm sure Rina will not allow that to happen because she's always claiming that she is the bigger star than her. But we will see when that day happens. So, so we'll find out. Now, our main event was supposed to be the finals of the Triangle Derby, but Julia, being I don't know what she was thinking. There was no subtitles, but instead the match turned into not only winning the um how do I say, not winning just the tournament, but putting the artists of Stardom on the line as well. So it was God's Eye versus Body Body Bombers, Tekla, Masakura, and Julia. But you know that this is more. There is like a bit of not animosity, but more like unresolved tensions. If you guys remember, Sudi and Mirai were once members of DDM until they both left on their own accord. So there's like a splinter version of them, but they're not. But it was Sudi who picked up the win by defeating Tekla, and boom, they are the new Artists of Stardom champions. Now, this was supposed to me, I felt that they should have gotten these belts a long time ago since they formed. It was a shame that it never happened, but I'm glad that they finally got that chance. I mean, because here's the reasons. When I started watching Stardom back in 2020, the Cosmic Angels, they won the artist belts right away as soon as they won it. And then we saw the same thing with other teams in the past. Like, of course, DDM had that same situation and a few others. But this should have been what it started. But however, Stardom is not just done yet. But hopefully by the next episode, we will see the other one, Stardom Gate. And Sudi is going to be in the main event, I believe, for the IWGP Women's Championship. Now, keep in mind, we also have Wrestle Kingdom 18 involved. So I will do that on the next episode. But right now, let's move on with our final review, AEW Dynamite. All right, AEW Rampage. As you know, we entered their Fallout after World's End this past Saturday. As you know, we have a brand new AEW World Champion, Samoa Joe. And of course, Samoa Joe is probably going to, you know, he sent a direct message to MJF how he embarrassed him in front of his friends and family in his turf. But that's not the actual story from there. The actual story is what happened after the match at World's End, the devil has revealed. And I think many fans had kind of suspected it from day one, or they just thought about it. Who knows how you thought? I don't know. We all learned it was Adam Cole who was behind the devil's outfit. And not only that, he formed a brand new faction called the Undisputed Kingdom, combining himself, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett, better known as the Kingdom, Roderick Strong, and Wardlow. Now, we all question is why now? How long was this happening? Well, it looks like he planned this every step of the way. And not to mention, he said that now that the ROH tag team titles are right where they belong with Matt Taven and Mike Pettit. He even indicated that Roderick Strong will soon be making play for the Internet AEW. And then, of course, Wardlow will be getting the AEW World title, and then he'll pass it on to him. But you can tell the tensions with Wardlow. He probably does not like that, but if I was Adam Cole, I would not say things like that in front of a guy who has long desired to become champion. This is the same thing he had with the TNT title before. But we will see. But of course, Adam Cole says that MJF's not coming back. But however, it does not leave with the enemies that he has built up. Amongst them is none other than Jay White. Now, Jay White says that he respects him for what he did, playing MJF. But what he does not respect is the fact that he was used as a guinea pig for his own personal gain. This is not something that he's fond of. But however, he did say, you may attack me when I was alone, but I'm not alone. And of course, he had backup with them, and that is the As Boys. So basically, they had everything under control, but the numbers games was too much. And here comes another set of victims, and that is the Acclaim and Daddy Ass. Of course, I'm sure that the Bullet Club Gold and Acclaim doesn't want nothing to do each other, but of course, that's the simple terms. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Keep in mind, these two teams were attacked by the devil. But of course, possibly we could see them have a temporary alliance until they deal with Adam Cole or so. Now, our next match is for the AEW International title. Orange Cassidy defends it against Dante Martin. As you can say, Dante Martin, he feels that he needs to catch up for losing so much time from being injured. But how much time does he need? Well, we know how fantastic he's in the ring. He is a strong wrestler and all this and that. However, Orange Cassidy was able to apply the orange punch and put him out for good. However, we had a very interesting surprise by the reunited Private Party. Now, we haven't seen Mark Quinn over a year now, but it's great to see them. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for them to finally make their way for the AEW Tag Team titles. However, they did put a notice on the AEW Tag Team division that they are going to be going through every last one of them, including their mentors, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Now, Renee Paquette conducts an interview with Toni Storm. Toni Storm, who decided not to be in the venue because they're in New Jersey. She feels like this is not New York. So she decided that she's going to make her way to Broadway. Yeah, typical Toni Storm. However, we did see a very interesting video package from the House of Black. They said they accept FTR's challenge. Saying that, and also they told them if they lose, that they have no other choice but to join them. And as for Dax Harwood, to abandon his family and accept his new one because they claim that they don't love him. I'm sure Dax Harwood will hear that, and he's not going to accept that kindly. Now, Renee Paquette does another interview with Swerve. As you know, Swerve has been on the roll recently, and of course, he is going to be facing Daniel Garcia, another guy who has been now, his name is on a spotlight. Now, this is the kind of person Swerve is. He does not appreciate people stealing the spotlight that was meant for him. So he said that it's all about paying for him, what he's going to give him at the main event. Now we have the debut of Mariah May taking on Queen Aminata. Queen Aminata has been making appearances in AEW during the Dark on Elevation times, but it was great to see her. But unfortunately, this match ended with Mariah May applying her move, the Mayday, and it was over from there. And of course, she did a post-match comments with Renee Paquette, telling she would, but however, she understand that she will never do it in New Jersey. And of course, people booed. And then we saw the virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo. Now, there's been indications about that she's been in talks with AEW for a while. Now, recently, as you know, she has finished her time with, now that it's TNA, and now she made it. However, she, in the other hand, is calling out Toni Storm, and she said no matter where she is, she'll find her because this is the age of the virtuosa, and she's officially all elite. And of course, her debut was ruined by the debut of Deonna Purrazzo. So yes, so that's going to be interesting to see. Now, for some god reason, Christian Cage shows up to address the people. Now, of course, he'd even said that he's going to give more prestige to the TNT title. It's not prestige. He just doesn't want to lose it. And he said that he's going to pass on the belt to Nick Wayne. But I want to have you guys pay attention. Did you notice how Killswitch was? He felt that he's being left out. Adam Copeland did mention this, that sooner or later, Killswitch and possibly Nick Wayne will abandon him. This could be the beginning of what could be what Adam Copeland predicts. Killswitch could betray them, but of course, Christian Cage thinks he's all and high and mighty. Sooner or later, Killswitch is gonna snap, and it's over right there. Now, apparently, we have a brand new Outcast member, and this one was interviewed by Renee Paquette, of course. Harley Cameron. And of course, Ruby say, so I had enough dealing with blondes. Oh no, she's a different kind of blonde. So, I mean, yes, I mean, she is different. I think they're from the same country, but yes. And so Ruby's like, okay. So we'll see what happens in the Outcast. Now, our next match, we have Konosuke Takeshita taking on Darby Allin. Oh my effing God. Darby Allin went through hell to deal with, of course, Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita brutalized him badly until Takeshita put a power knee and power him out. I have to say, this is the most brutal match that Darby Allin gets. But however, during a post-match interview in the back, Don Callis tells Darby Allin to go get Sting. So basically, they're trying to also end Sting before he gets to Revolution. So they think that now that Takeshita and Hobbs are going to be on the hunt for both Sting and Darby, well, don't count them out just yet. Now, before our next match, Eddie Kingston comes in and joins the commentary desk. And as you know, this is for an eliminator match for the Continental title. In the four-way match, we have the Bounty Hunter, Brian Keith, versus Trent Beretta, versus the Machine, Brian Cage, versus El Hijo de Vikingo. So, there's a lot of factors in this match. I mean, of course, Eddie Kingston said that he's never faced a guy like Brian Keith before. But he said he doesn't care who walks out. As long as he knows he has to focus on that person. Even, he's like, Eddie Kingston watching this match, focusing, he doesn't want to talk to Taz because he did not invite him for Christmas dinner. But of course, Tony told him, I will invite you. I know you would. So basically, that's how it is. But out of nowhere, it was Trent Beretta that picked up the win by pinning Brian Keith. So that means right now Eddie Kingston has to contempt with Trent Beretta. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, of course, Renee Paquette was doing an interview with Danny Magic because, as you know, he will be in a commentary section to, of course, watch Daniel Garcia on his match against Swerve. And here comes Hangman, who looks a little bit unhinged for everything that just transpired. I mean, look, he lost in a match against Swerve. He got his ass beat by the Devil's Henchman and all this other stuff. But let's move on to the main event. We have Swerve Strickland and Daniel Garcia. Now, I knew that some people were going to see this and talk about it. That dance off between Daniel Garcia and Prince Nana. Of course, that was going to be something that could possibly happen. But of course, Swerve, being craftier that he is, he applied the JLL driver and picked up the win. However, he was trying to shake hands with Daniel Garcia. He kicked him in the groin. This shows that he doesn't want anybody to steal the spotlight, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen anymore because the spotlight once again goes to Hangman Adam Page, and I'm sure this is not what he plans for 2024. His initial plan is the AEW World Title. So right now, there's gonna be a lot of obstacles. He's gonna complain and bitch about this every step of the way. So we'll see what happens with them. But also, we will get to Rampage to see what's going to happen and Collision. But right now, I think we're done with our interviews. With our reviews, let's talk about our news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. So let's get started with, of course, updates with the promotions on their upcoming events. The first one we have is GCW. So we have 2 events that have been updated for 2024. Now, as you know, we have the Tampa show, Look at Me, taking place on the 26th of January. They announced a 4-way match for a women's match. So we have Maki Ito versus Alley Catch versus Dark Sheik versus Lindsay Snow. So that's going to be a really interesting match to watch. And then, of course, as you know, in the last episode with the news updates, I mentioned that GCW has announced a brand new show for their return to Dallas, Texas, on the 23rd. 23rd? Yes, on the 23rd of February. Touch the Sky. 4 names have been announced who will participate in this event. We have Nick F. Gage, Blake Christian, the A-hole, Alley Catch, and of course, the master of the Tornado DDT, Fuego del Sol. So yes, so those are your GCW updates right now. Now, as you know, this coming Saturday or Friday, we have MLW's show taking place. They announced for Ichiban versus Jimmy Lloyd for that one. Now, this is not part of the Kings of the Coliseum event, but it is related to their show on that particular day. Now, as you know, we're not that far off with TNA as well. Hard to Kill, as you know, we had the Hard to Kill on January 13th. We continue to announce names for the Knockouts Ultimate X match, and they just recently announced Jody Threat will be participating in this. And also, a match has been announced for TNA's Hard to Kill, and this, I think, is one we definitely don't want to miss out. We have Josh Alexander taking on the debut of Alex Hammerstone. I have to say, as good old JR would say, it's going to be a slobber knocker. So yes, I'm definitely going to be seeing that. Now, Chris Brooks' show, Baka Gaijin and Friends, they announced for their upcoming show, Volume 8. That will take place later on this month on the 17th of January. Now, no names have been mentioned who will participate. I'm sure that they will announce that soon enough because, as you know, Chris Brooks has not been 100% physically due to injuries that he's been obtaining, but we will see how that progresses on. Now, as you know, I mentioned Wrestling Revolver's What a Show that will take place in Texas in February on the 17th. They announced a tag match. We have the Rascals consistent of Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz taking on Los Desperados consistent of Gringo Loco and Aries. And then we have West Coast Pro for the Under the Bridge show taking place on the 18th of February, and they announced Queen Aminata will be participating. Now, Chicago promotion Wrestling Revolver, Warrior Wrestling, my bad, Warrior Wrestling for the Trouble Brewing event on the 1st of March, they announced for Warhorse versus Mike Bennett. So that's going to be interesting. Now, as part of the Mustafa report, Mustafa Ali will be making his debut with House of Glory, The Reckoning, on March 2nd. So this is huge. Now we're getting more added shows on him for 2024 for him. So he looks like he is now ready to conquer the world. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, as you know, I mentioned this before. We're going to see a collaboration with two promotions, with Yoshi Promotion, Marvelous, and of course, Bay Area Promotion, West Coast Pro. And they're calling the show called Marvelous Coast. That'll take place on the 23rd of March. Now, they haven't announced for names yet, but now they have officially one of the youngest of the roster, AI Hausen, will be participating. But they even announced a meet and greet session for that particular show, and that is none other than Yoshi legend Bull Nakano. So if any of my subscribers are from the Bay Area and you guys are fans of Bull Nakano, go get your tickets and meet and greet now. Now, as you know, Kitsune Women's Pro Wrestling for their Kampai show taking place on the 24th of March. They announced 4 new names involving this. We have Masha Slamovich, Janakai, Act Yasukawa, and of course, the submission sniper Konami. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, finally, as you know, Stardom has announced that they are returning to the U.S. the first time since 2019 for the American Dream on the 4th of April. And this is going to take place the week of WrestleMania in Philadelphia. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So I think that's it for all the updates and the promotions. Now, there's certain things we're going to talk about, developments that have been happening. Now, as you know, I mentioned Yoshitatsu has announced during a during an All Japan show, he announced his retirement, and I'm sure he's already starting his little final matches. Amongst them that he announced, he will be making an appearance at DDT Pro Wrestling on the 5th of January. Now, no mentions of any who's going to participate, but I'm sure we'll be getting names from that as well. Speaking of All Japan, we have Shotari Ashino. Apparently, he had some remarks towards our current Triple Crown champion, and this is what he had to say about him. We don't need token style. We don't need Katsuhiko Nakajima. January 27th, I will be the Triple Crown champion and will banish and remove Nakajima out of All Japan forever. Many people from this roster may or may not like Nakajima, but he is one of the strongest wrestlers. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, Bryan Danielson mentioned Tokyo Storms on Tokyo Sports in an interview. There's certain wrestlers that he will love to face from the New Japan roster. We have Hiromu Takahashi, El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Shingo Takagi, and Tomohiro Ishii. I have to say that's going to be interesting. I'd say book him New Japan or AEW on any of these matches. So that's just something. Now, as you know, 2024 is the time where there's going to be some free agents. House of Wrestling has reported, I don't know how reliable it is, but they're saying that WWE has a super high interest in Kamille. So we know Kamille has finished up her time with NWA. We don't know where she'll be landing, but having her being, I think she will be one of those wrestlers that maybe WWE will be paying attention. So yeah, so we will see. Now, finally, during a recent event with DDT Pro Wrestling, the president of DDT and wrestler Sanshiro Takagi has made the following statement about taking a temporary break from his activities as a wrestler. But this is what he had to say: I'll be temporarily taking a break from my pro wrestling activities after the DDT Ryogoku tournament on July 21st. Due to health reasons, I will be focused managing cyber fight, not only for DDT but for the entire pro wrestling world. So yes, Takagi, I feel like right now, not gonna call him old. I feel like right now his body has worn out from all the matches he's been in. So he not only serves as a wrestler, but he serves like in administration I have seen him how he's always been very, very work behind the scenes. Not to mention, even help prominence. If they said if they want to do a show on Wrestle Universe, all they got to do is tell him. So he's very keen about that. But hopefully he'll be okay. But we'll see what happens until then. I think that's it for our news updates. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we got Wrestle Kingdom 18 and, of course, Stardom Gate. I'm so excited for that. I'm not sure how things were going to be with TNA now, if they're going to jump into the show in the new year, or Ring of Honor, or MLW. So we'll see how Thursday wrestling will be. But for now, this is what I have for everybody because I got to do a lot of work. So I'll see you in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.